All right, I think we'll make a start.
Yep.
Looks like everyone's settled in. So once again, hello everyone and welcome to Simple Fun 360 Education Week. With the ever-changing landscape in the SMSF industry, today's session we're going to focus on building the foundation of your SMSF knowledge. So we're going to showcase some educational resources that are available to help you and your firm keep up to date and stay relevant. My co-host today is a real authority in the SMSF industry, Aaron Dunn. Aaron's a certified practicing accountant and an SMSF specialist advisor, and also the CEO of Smarter SMSF. Aaron, thanks for joining me today.
Excellent. Thank you, Anthony. Good to be here. So new financial year. I'm sure plenty of us are already getting our teeth stuck into returns for the for the last financial year.
100%.
So it's going to be the session today. What we wanted to go through is something that I think, and importantly, we'll share this as we go through, is something we've had a huge amount of interest in since we launched this. So this was my COVID project in 2020, would you believe it? So when we went into lockdown, I decided that one of the things that would keep me focused was to look and building out this course. And I started to share this information internally with a few internally at BGL with a few people, and Ron and Daniel and Jeevan and Matt at the time and so forth. And it started to demonstrate to me that there was a definite need for it. And therefore, I guess what we've done is form this partnership whereby BGL staff utilize it, but also BGL clients get to access this through the BGL Learning Channel. So today, what Anthony and I want to go through is to give you some insight into the course, how it works. We'll talk to you a bit about the outline and the framework in the topics that we've covered and so forth, but then deep dive into it, and Anthony will walk you through how you can access that from the BGL Learning Channel, and naturally the benefits that come with it. So I guess, Anthony, if there's anything else you want to add there, otherwise let's get stuck into it.
No, that's exactly right. We'll go through some of the resourcing that's available and how you can access the Learning Channel. So let's start the session.
Yep, excellent. So as I said, we've kind of covered what we've got there in terms of the topics. So the course here is made up of 7 modules. So we started it with 6, we've advanced it to 7. We intend on expanding it further, but it takes you through a kind of life cycle, in essence, of a superannuation fund, where you can see we give an explanation of where the superannuation industry is, and then the context in which SMSFs sit within that landscape. And then from there, it's then where we start to drill down and look at what is a self-managed super fund and some of the relevant rules and requirements around it. And as you can then see from the other 6 modules that follow thereafter, we are then specifically drilling down into relevant topics that you would be covering each and every day in your working environment around the operation of self-managed super funds. Now, what I should say is this does vary on the length of the different topics. So module 1, for instance, might only take you up to 90 minutes to complete, but you're going to get your teeth stuck right into taxation of SMSFs and member benefits, where that is in essence up to 5 hours worth of content. And again, when we go into the Learning Channel to show you how this or how these modules work, it is delivered in a true e-learning format that enables you to kind of stop and start and pick up from where you are as well. So what I might just quickly do is jump over to our course outline and just show you, I guess, what you need to be aware of from the topics that we actually cover within the course. So just make sure I got on the right screen here. So you can see here we have so we have a downloadable document on our site as well if you want to access this, but it goes through what those key learning outcomes actually are. You can see the modules that we cover there, and specifically all of the topics that we cover within each of these modules as well. So if you want to find out more around what is covered in from a course level and then specifically with the modules, we will then encourage you to go and have a look at this. And actually, Anthony, what I might do is I'll send this through to you as well, and we can include it on the link page so that people have direct access to this to try and find out more about how that applies too. So again, just to share with you the importance of how that is actually set up. So let's go back to our slides and keep moving through. We have, in addition to the different modules, we do spend a lot of time going through and updating to ensure that we continue to comply with the law. One of the things, for those that may have done it previously, we have made some fairly substantial changes to the contributions rules module because there were numerous changes that have taken effect from the 1st of July this year. Removal of the work test is just one example there. So one of the other questions that we would regularly get asked here is around the relevancy. So who is this course actually being built for? So we do see a broad spectrum of professionals actually accessing the SMSF Foundations course, but it is initially being designed for one particular cohort, and that is for individuals that are trying to naturally build their knowledge. So up to intermediate level of what I'd call around SMSF knowledge. So that may be specifically where you're bringing on new staff and you need to build them up from a skill set point of view, but it's a more specialist role. But what we equally see is we see practitioners that may be more generalist in the way that they do their work. They cover superannuation, but also do a range of business services and tax work, where this course is a great tool to allow you to ensure that you're keeping up to date with those particular changes. We've seen our course being utilised both onshore and offshore. We have some relationships with TOA Global, for example, where a range of team members can go through courses that way. But we also have numerous sort of firms that are bringing on new staff in large numbers. So if we talk about auditors and so forth, and so those teams, whether they're onshore and offshore, again, allows them to fast track through as well. So it's not designed for a specialist. So we do peel that back in that regard, but we do know that there are some people out there that might have far more specialist knowledge, but may have some knowledge gaps that they want to fill in. And again, there is the opportunity to use the course to enable them to complete those gaps that they have. The other thing that we do see is the benefit of onboarding, and the fact that many of us are time poor in being able to adequately onboard staff and upskill them. So you get, in essence, the benefit of me and the team that we've helped kind of put this together to go, okay, we've now got someone here that can sit down and work through with them how these rules apply, and therefore enabling you in the firm that may ordinarily be charged with helping to onboard those team members and building up their skills. You're now kind of mentoring them in some respects around the course and the applied knowledge that they may get from it. The other thing here, as I mentioned before, we've seen a number of changes. So we are working through the modules. The module 3 was the key change that we saw. It's had the largest amount of change to it. That has now been uploaded and updated through the BGL Learning Channel. But there are a range of things that it covers. So we've seen things like our SG increase from 10 to 10.5%. We've seen director ID changes from last year. We've also seen superstream changes, and then our federal budget measures that impact a broad number of contribution requirements. So again, we touched on earlier about the removal of the work test for individuals. So in that module, we talk about a comparison of how the old rules work and how it is under the new framework from the 1st of July. We've got changes in age for things like downsizer contributions, the 450 SG threshold removal, and the number of ECPI red tape measures that then get impacted in Module 5 as well. So once again, the way in which we help keep you up to date in this is we run a change log And that change log goes through to help you understand, what has or hasn't been impacted from the point of view of the course. So I might just again go over to our screen here, and we have a description of the module changes here. So if you're working through the course and then there are changes that have been put through, you can go back and look at that. So we have people that may be working through the course at the moment. They may have completed module 3, but it may be in their interest to go back and have a look at it because, again, there are a number of things, as you can see here, quite comprehensively, that we've had to update because of the law change that is applied as well. And this is off our own site, but equally, you've got access to this through the BGL Learning Channel to ensure that you keep up to date on that topic too. So we keep moving to there. Yep. All right. Now, the other thing that I just wanted to touch on here, and Anthony, I'm going to bring you into the conversation here, is the discussion around the knowledge gain and the acceleration of knowledge gain. Because what we have found some 18 months now into offering this course, or potentially a little bit longer, is just the acceleration of learning that they get to be able to do the job. And we haven't kind of measured this entirely by, numerically, as you can see, as we're trying to sort of demonstrate it here, but there is a definite connection between the time frame in which someone would ordinarily be onboarded in an organization and the knowledge benefit through doing the course. So Doug, one of the things when we rolled this out for the entire BGL organization is Doug, who is the support manager at BGL, just made a passing comment to me about the acceleration that has actually occurred within BGL to support the support team in getting their knowledge up to speed to be able to support you as BGL clients. And he made the comment there, it feels like they've gained a month compared to when using other courses. So Anthony, you're actively involved in this in your role as training manager at BGL. So can I get you maybe to elaborate a little bit further on that insight that from BGL's perspective?
Well, we really do draw on this course internally, Aaron, whether it's our admin staff through to marketing to our support team. We try to get as many people through the course just to build a solid foundation and really springboard off the course to grow their skill sets.
Yep.
Whether it's learning key terms or if it's for legislative updates, we run, like I said, a vast majority of our staff through it. So not only do they get an advantage to grow their skill set in the SMSF space and be able to understand key terms with our clients, but as a manager as well, my contact hours have reduced significantly with onboarding new staff.
Yep.
So I'm able to save time and focus my attention elsewhere. And it turns more into a review process for me, where I'm actually just connecting with the staff when we're onboarding and just ensuring that they understand the key concepts. They do get that validated learning through the actual foundations course itself.
Yep.
But as a manager, I just like to sort of have a touch point with them and ensure that they're understanding the key concepts. So it's definitely saved me time. Given that it's on demand as well, they can access it at any stage at any time and work through that course. So it's been a real godsend to have through our establishment.
Yeah, and I think you raise a good point there because, again, it may be, and we'll go through it shortly as well, but you've got different staff within the organization that will look at it in a different context. So you've got people there that need to be able to be adequately skilled in their role, and they need to understand the rules behind it and the knowledge and so forth that comes with the role that they have within the organization. But equally, you've got, like I said, marketing and so forth that just kind of need to get the concepts, and they can spend just a little bit of time. The outcome is not CPD and the reward of being certified, but it's you need to be able to know certain things to be able to do your job. And again, it can sort of play that role equally as well, in an organization like BGL. So to your point there, and I think this is a real interesting one, we've only started to see this in the past 6 months where we're going back and talking to firms again about the benefits that they've seen. And one is the student, the acceleration of learning, but the other is the opportunity costs within the organization about the manager. So you made the comment then about the fact that you're not needing to spend as much time onboarding, but they're actually getting more time and the ability to support them in their role. So we're estimating it's somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000 in a manager level role if you sort of accumulate that 20 to 25 hours of time that they might spend around the course. So, for a small outlay from a course perspective, you're giving the manager back the time that they would have otherwise had to have sacrificed or invested. I know you should use the term invested, but there is an opportunity cost in doing so. The focus then of the manager is what I call the on-the-job training. So enabling them to be able to apply the skills from the course. And that is the huge benefit that we see. And it gives then more autonomy for the student to learn and develop and less dependency on the manager to go, you should be going away and looking at this yourself. And we even find that some of the staff then are it's kind of like, well, we went through this in module 3, for example, go back and see what's in module 3, understand it. And then from there, let's come back and apply it again, just to, again, making sure that they know they can do the research themselves and understand, how they should be applying what they are learning in their job on a day-to-day. And it is a very practically focused topic. Many of you that have heard me speak over a long period of time know that the way in which I present is very practitioner focused. So again, the course is built in very similar lines. And again, that's why we then have not only our course, but we have a range of ongoing CPD packages to then further enhance and support that individual's knowledge and the team knowledge, and then again, enabling them to save further time and further dependency. So maybe, Anthony, now's the good time to go across to the Learning Channel and show people a little bit more about the course. So I will hand over to you. You can share the screen.
Yeah,
and we'll go from there.
All right. So hopefully you can see my screen now,
Aaron. I can, yes.
Awesome. All right. So this is where it all starts. And I've shared the link in the chat. So you should be able to access that. If not, just navigate to the Q&A and we'll be able to share that link with you as well.
Yep.
But from here, you're going to be able to register directly from this link, and that'll take you into the area where you can actually buy the course. Now, that will send you an invitation email to access the Learning Channel. For the Simple Fun 360 users, hopefully you already know that you can access the Learning Channel directly from Simple Fun 360. So it's directly integrated through the app switcher. And once you've purchased the course, you'll be able to access the Learning Channel just by selecting that checkbox there. So what I'm going to do is actually open up the course now. So I'm taking you to the course, and you can see there that the modules are clearly broken up from module 1 to module 7. And you'll also notice that the modules are separated with the assessment. And we'll go into that in a bit more detail in a second. But you do have the ability to track your progress through the course. So you can see at the moment, I've got a bit of work to do, Aaron.
Yeah, you do.
But we're also having a look at module 1, and you've got the progression bar as well for the modules that you're working through. Now, to actually go into the course, all you have to do is with your cursor, just click on module 1, and that'll load the actual course for you. Now, given that it's on demand, it's going to remember from your last session that you've had active. So you can obviously pick up and take off from where you've left off. So you can see here that I'm just going to resume from my previous slide. Now, the course has got a number of... Oh, there's your voice, Aaron.
Yep.
The course is made up of a number of informative videos as well as text. And you can see there that we've got visual aids to help you support the key fundamental terms that we're trying to address. But every module you'll see here in the resource section, if I click on resources, has a workbook. Yep. So I'm just going to select that workbook. And this workbook, you can download it or print it, so you can have a hard copy of it as well, which is great. But that workbook is created for each module.
Yep. Yeah. So there's over 200 pages of workbook content across the course.
Yeah, and it's quite, like I said, it's quite detailed as well. So it's got all the information that you need that are presented in the slides as well.
Yep.
So it's great to have that workbook available whilst you're also doing the online assessment that's built in.
Yep.
I'm just going to scroll through the slides, and what I want to show you is that there's also built-in activities that you can do along the way there. So you're validating your learning and ensuring that you're understanding the key concepts before you're moving forward. So you can see here that we've got a question. John wishes to establish an SMSF with 2 members, his long-serving employees, not related, where they'll act as individual trustees and be members. Will the fund meet the definition of an SMSF? And obviously you've got a yes and no because it's pretty straightforward. So, if we click on say no, and you can see there that, I had a 50% chance there, Aaron, so I might go to the casino after this, but you can see there that it is correct, and I'm able to move on to the next slide.
Yeah, so Anthony, that's a real important part that we've added into this process, because we want to make sure that when you get to the end of the module, you are ready to be able to complete the assessment. So, subject again to the size of the modules, you may find 2, 3, 4 different activities that you will need to work through just to make sure you're on track, and therefore that you'll feel confident as you get to the end of that module that you'll be able to now successfully have a crack at the assessment itself. So as you said before, there's a blend. You'll need to listen to me. You may see me. You'll be able to read the content. So we do cover, I guess, the different ways in which people best learn in here. And again, it's all fully mobile responsive. So if you want to do it on a phone, on an iPad, on the PC, this facilitates that process as well.
And as you mentioned before, Aaron, if you have to go through the content again to try remember where key terms are, it's searchable. I think that's key.
Yep, absolutely.
So you can obviously type in key terms and it'll navigate to the right area for you.
Yeah, correct.
Now, as I mentioned before, we run a number of people through this course, whether it's admin, our marketing team, or our support team. You'll notice that the assessments are separated from the actual module itself as well. So if you're in it for the CPD hours, which Aaron, you'll go into a bit more detail later on.
Yep.
Your professional staff have the opportunity to actually go through the assessment and gain their CPD certificate. So you can see there that there's built-in assessments along the way as well.
Yep.
So it's not a mandated section as well with the Learning Channel. So if you choose not to do the assessments, you can obviously move to module 2. So you might be onboarding an administration staff member, and maybe assessments isn't what they're looking for. So they're just after key terms. So they're able to do that as well.
Yep. But if you want to get your CPD certificate, most importantly, you would need to go through and in essence, complete all modules and then complete all assessments successfully as well. And then the certificate will automatically generate thereafter.
Exactly. Is there anything else, Aaron, that you'd like me to showcase with?
The only other thing, I might just get you to go down to the contribution one. I might just quickly give a bit of
Module 3.
Yep, module 3 there. Yep. So again, this is the one that we've spent the most time. There are a few other minor changes that we're rolling out at the moment. So if you are working through it, I think, Anthony, if there is an update and that is pushed through, which there may be a couple of other ones over the next fortnight or so with some minor tweaks, you will be advised through here that there is an update to that particular module as well. The only other thing, so if you go to the resources there, just to that resources menu, we talked before about the module, but we do also include, where relevant, things like abbreviations, links as well. So if we are talking about rulings, if we are talking about other things that may be relevant there, you've got some references to that. And in a lot of instances here, in particular with the contributions, we also have included a range of flowcharts. So if you just click on that Appendix 1 there for me, if you wouldn't mind, we actually help you to understand and navigate how the contribution rules work in respect to now a member under 75 years of age and the use of the bring forward rule and so forth. So there's a broad range of topics that we're covering. And then where relevant, if we can show you in some other form, like we have here, again, it just helps you to work through and understand the rules to the level that you would need to go and apply it in your job as well. So, and if you've got questions along the way, Anthony, if you just go back, you can email us if you go to the presenter info there on the left side, top left, you can actually just hit the email button there, and that'll send an email through to our team at Smarter SMSF, and then we'll come back to you through there as well. So I think, yeah, they're the main things. You've got on the bottom there, the sound. So like I said, you've got audio and stuff. You can open that up further, and then you are simply really just progressing through those slides with the next.
Yep. Okay,
Yep.
Aaron, I think I'll share control with you now, so
Yep.
you
Okay.
can talk about the CPD hours and pricing.
Yeah, no problems. Just need to change that back from full screen. Exit full screen. There we go. And let's go back to our slides. Okay, so for those from a CPD point of view, this just provides you with some detail as to how this course has been mapped. So we do have it accredited, so you will get SMSF association points. Also, these hours would count for the major accounting bodies. We have also mapped it for SEA purposes. So we have a range of licensees that utilize this for advisors that are coming on board and need to have a certain level of competency around SMSF. And again, we cover that as well. So when we look at why people consider the SMSF Foundations course, most importantly, we see it about knowledge. We know that keeping up to date is still the #1 challenge across the profession, whether that's people doing the work themselves or within their team. So this is a way in which to help fill that gap and leveraging the knowledge and expertise of what we have at Smarter SMSF to implant that in your staff and your organization, again, to keep up to date. The flexibility, hopefully, as we've shown you from that demo before. So it allows you to learn in your own time and at your own pace. So it is a self-paced course. And I think there was a question before about the time frame you would have access to this. We do give you 4 months to complete that course. So it gives you a sufficient amount of time to be able to work through and build that knowledge base that you need within the organization. One of the things that we put a huge focus on is obviously the support to be able to assist you in successfully undertaking anything that you do with us, whether it's training, ordering documents, and so on and so forth. So there is a mechanism there, as you could see, to ask any questions or clarification that you might have. Quite often, I'll come back. We might have a specific question that comes in. I might just send an audio file back to you. So rather than this sort of long-winded email that might take me, 35 minutes or whatever to type up, I may end up just doing a 4 or 5 minute audio file and sharing that back and explaining in a little bit more detail why an answer might have been an answer in the assessment or why a certain scenario is the way it is. And then, as we said, it's currently 21 hours for CPD, and we continue to look at how we might expand on that course over time. There's a couple of topics that we would look at some point in the probably this back half of the year, whether we would get both done or not. But the topics of insurance and more specifically LRBAs are two that we've got some feedback on that we would look to do as well. But like I said, you'd get 21 hours of accredited CPD with a certificate issued where you successfully work through those modules and then complete the assessment. And what I should say is there may be topics that you are more skilled on and you may be able to work through much quicker than what the suggested hours would be. And that is fine. If you can work through that topic relatively quickly and you can complete that assessment successfully, you will still be awarded with the hours. It is about a validated learning approach rather than saying you've just got to sit there and read it, even though you necessarily may be fully versed in that particular topic. so that we understand there may be times where you're going to have to spend more information, and you may spend more time looking at links and looking at rulings to understand that further. And there may be other topics where you might not spend as much as what has been suggested. That is all fine. The view is that it will all ultimately wash out in the end. It's there for you to get the most out of it in your own right. So here's what we have around our course fee. It is $550, which is a $100 discount to what we have off our standard price on Smarter SMSF. So part of the opportunity for you as a BGL client, again, like we do with our documents that you can order through us, we have a special arrangement for BGL given the long-standing relationship that we have. What we have done for Education Week here is that we are going to provide the first 20 purchases through until the 5th of August. We're going to throw on top of that a bonus 12-month CPD subscription. So we run quarterly changing face of SMSF sessions. So anyone that wants to look at acquiring the course, not only will it get you up to date, but the idea is we view ongoing CPD as a crucial tool to be able to support you and your business thereafter as well. So it is a limited offer based upon, like I said, the number of purchases that we can see there. Obviously, we'll get that data from BGL as to who those individuals are, and then we will get you set up to be able to access those quarterly sessions that we run in September, December, March, and June, each and every year, our changing face of SMSF. So a couple of FAQs and stuff here that we commonly get asked. So the first one here is can more than one person access a single purchase of the course? Now, we can't necessarily control that from our point of view. What we do say is that any one person who has purchased will be the one that will get that for CPD purposes. Now, Anthony, I don't know whether there's anything smarter around that with the switcher and so forth, but ordinarily speaking, we can't control what happens on our end, but we'd only be issuing CPD from the point of view of the individual that has purchased it in the first instance. So that student that was enrolled.
Yeah, that's correct, Aaron. It's the person that's profile that has created it and purchased it. They'll be issued the certificate.
Yep.
So if it's the same username that accesses Simple Fund 360, then once again, that's going to be the person that's issued the certificate.
Yep. In terms of the course, the length of time, like I said, we have 4 months in which individuals can work through that course. We do recognize that there might be times where people are struggling for whatever reason. So we're not going to be nasty and just literally shut you off. Come have a conversation, whether it's with Anthony and his team at BGL, or with our team, and subject to the circumstances and so forth, we'd be more than accommodating in that regard. But we do set out a framework of 4 months to ensure that you actually do work through that. In terms of the updates, I think we showed through there before, updates occur as and when we deem them to be required. So what, most importantly, our changing face of SMSF that I just spoke about as part of our Education Week offer, that does form the framework for us to review content and say, well, is there anything that has been going on within the SMSF sector over the last 3 months that would validate a change inside the course? And then off the back of that, we would go and reflect those changes. And in terms of the knowledge that you get, again, you would get an alert through the BGL Learning Channel to advise you that there has been an update, and what update, what module that would then relate to. Individual modules at this stage, we don't have access to purchase those individually. It is a course. There is a fairly substantial discount at a course level when comparing to what you'd have to pay if you did it on an individual module basis. So at this point, we haven't done that. And yes, if you are looking to roll through a significant number of staff, then we are happy to look at some sort of bulk pricing around that as well. So if you do have any questions about the course and some specifics around that, please come back to Smarter SMSF. We're the ones that understand, obviously, the nuances of that. Yes, you can go through to support at BGL. We do have some regular conversations naturally with them about questions that may come from you, but you can obviously come back to us if you've got anything specifically, because if you do go to BGL, they're naturally going to fold back to us in any event. And then the final thing, I guess, is around keeping you up to date. So as I mentioned before, we see education as being a big plank of what we do and how we do it. So we not only have in place our SMSF Foundations course that you see there, we have a broad range of training subscriptions. So whether it's just CPD on a quarterly basis or CPD through our CPD regular or CPD business program that gives you sort of 15 plus hours as well. That is hugely successful with us, and many people obviously utilize that as a tool to keep them up to date. We are in the middle of our SMSF Day events, so back face-to-face. At the moment, we've done our Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane legs. We've got Adelaide and Perth to go. The other thing I should note, just like BGL does with great success with these sort of education weeks, there are a range of other complementary and product-based webinars that we do run throughout the year. If you want to find out more, whether it's from our documents and deeds right through to our training products and other promotional things, like we run federal budget updates and so forth as well. So you can go to our smartersmsf.com/events and there's a training calendar there that you can access and then keep up to date with how things are going in terms of the training that we'll be running as well. So as I think, Anthony, you alluded to from the very beginning there, if you want to find out more and purchase, that is the link. So the SMSF Foundations course there. Again, I might just bring that up so people can see where they need to go here. So BGL Corp /SMSF Foundations. Again, it takes you through an explanation, who it's relevant for. You've got the course, you can actually download that there, I've just realized, so you can get the detail of the course outline there as well, and a number of FAQs to answer there as well. So
just on that, Aaron, there was just a question that came through on the pricing and taking advantage of the special offer. I just want to point out that it is already built into the website there on the register now button. So you'll have direct access to that pricing by just selecting register now.
Yep. So you've got the $550 here. So you'll purchase it through here, not on our website, to access the $550. So that is an important distinction there. And in terms of the bonus, we will get that information from Anthony and his team at BGL. He will give us that list, and then we will get in contact with you to enroll you or a relevant team member that you wanted enrolled for that CPD quarterly subscription and get you underway from there. So so that's, if I go back to that slide, from the offer point of view, you'll be able to see that there. So so what we have said in it is you can nominate someone else if you want to. We understand that there are the student themselves might be sufficient in doing that, but the boss is the one that's putting his hand, or her putting their hand in their pocket to do that, and we recognize that and are happy to have someone else nominated if you want to, and we will work through with you to do that as well. So Anthony, I think that was it from me. Like I said, if anyone else has any other questions, I'm happy to take them on board now, but otherwise we'll leave it there.
Thanks for that, Aaron. We do have the Q&A open, so if you do have any questions, please direct them straight into the Q&A. Whilst we're waiting, Aaron, there's also a changelog.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you've got that up or access to it.
Yes, we do somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so we will run. So you in here, I might even bring up last year's one as well. So just to show you the difference between changes that are made over different periods of time. So last year, for example, we made a range of changes across a number of modules. Again, the contributions one had a pretty substantial change last year, but equally, we saw changes to pension modules and tax modules and so forth. So again, we go through and we say, okay, well, what are the changes that have impacted those various modules? And it's a very simple bullet point. So it's we've spoken about, we've added a section in on SG because the rolling numbers are now occurring from what was 9.5 through to 12. we've now just added something into that with a little bit more detail. We obviously talked to the removal of the work test here. And again, that is then reflected. This is from the workbook point of view. So you'll be able to go 3.6.1 in the workbook is the thing that has changed. And what is the bit that has actually changed? It just gives you a summary of how that.
So as a user or as a student, should I say, it really does save you time not having to go through the whole module again, in a sense.
Correct.
You can just focus on the changes and have a look at the dot point. And if you need to go into more detail, then you can go directly to the work.
Yep. Yeah, and you can see here we do that in a number of things. So even with our trust deed and so forth, there's a range of things that we update on an ongoing basis to be able to support our members and our clients to be able to say, okay, well, what do I need to know right now in respect to this course, this document or whatever, and the change that it means for the staff member, the client or whatever that may be utilizing this.
Yeah.
So
we're just having a look at the question and answer log, and it seems to be running a bit dry there, Aaron. So
yeah, that's all right. So we've either covered it all, which is great, or we've bamboozled them and they're confused entirely.
We'll give it a couple of minutes before we wrap up the session, but definitely want to thank everyone for attending the first session on Simple Fun 360 Education Week. We're obviously running a number of sessions throughout the week, so make sure that you're signing up to them if you haven't already done so, and they're free to attend. So come along and hopefully you can learn something new on how to use Simple Fun 360. All right, Aaron,
all right. Sounds like we're done.
Wrap it up there. But if they do have any questions, obviously they can reach out using those links that you said before in emails. So
correct.
Any questions after today, please just direct them straight to. We'll dob in David. So you've got David's
details there. Yep, you can give the office a call, and so we can take it. He's the one that can work through any questions that people may have. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you do have any questions on the Learning Channel, feel free to just log a call with our support team, and we'll be able to get you up and running. But you should have access to the Learning Channel anyway.
Yep. Excellent. Well, Anthony, have a great SMSF 360 Education Week. I think it's a great initiative to help users get the most out of their software. And like I said, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this week as well. And we know that the skills of practitioners to be able to support this is crucially important. And I certainly appreciate the opportunity to have our course play a role not only with your clients, but also internally at BGL as well. So thank you.
Thanks for joining. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for your time today.
Pleasure.
We'll call it there and hope to catch you at another BGL event.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.